Hi everyone, Corey here from Tales from a Polk County Girl. In this video, it's Knitting Podcast episode 9. Next week will be episode 10, double digits. Real celebration next week. In this video, I'm going to show you my Mini Skein progress, my Scrappy Wrap progress, the new cotton that I'm knitting on. I did finish Mango Madness a few days ago, so I did finish it before the end of March, yay. And I'm going to show you the new color that I'm working with. Some of you have, if you've been watching videos in the past, you have seen it before, but I still want to show it off because it's actually knitting up really cool. And then I want to talk about a notion, it's right here, that I found out about via YouTube. And I love it. I bought it. I've been looking for it for a while. Recently found it and I've been using it and it's awesome. So let's get started. Okay, Mini Skein 10 stitch. I got, how am I holding this? All right. Everywhere you see a progress keeper is a part that has been added. So that corner right there, that side, this corner, this side, and this white corner, because my little tooth is not showing up that well. So it's knitting up really nicely. I'm still shocked at how much yarn are in the little bonbons. Let me just go over my progress keepers real quick. Scoot closer. The first one, come on, it's a little metal piece that says USA on it. This piece was part of the 3 charm set that came from the patriotic set that came from Walmart that was made in China. The next progress keeper is a little Union Jack charm. I bought this pre-done. I did not put the lobster claw on it at Hobby Lobby a few years ago. My husband and in-laws are British, so that is how I pay homage to them. And then this little charm my mom gave me, and I don't really remember what she said about it, but it is carved. Hang on. You can see that. And then it's got a little piece of what I believe is onyx or obsidian in the center, and it is quite a weighty charm. So to be perfectly honest, I'm glad I'm filming today so I can get it off. That's the thing about progress keepers. If you make your own, you need to be very mindful of their weight. The next one is a little skull and crossbones. And the last one, try to balance the needle, and there we go. It's just a little canine tooth. The skull and crossbones and the canine tooth came from a bracelet that I have talked about in the past. I refer to it as my voodoo bracelet because it had a Bible charm on it. It had skull and crossbones. It had a fleur-de-lis, the houndstooth, a crown. Just when I saw all the components of it based on what I've read about voodoo and New Orleans, very voodoo-ish. So I don't like wearing bracelets personally because I work with my hands a lot at work. I'm always on the computer or I'm shelving books, and my husband will tell you the bracelets he has made for me, sadly, most of them don't last a day. At least the charms don't, because just shelving books, they get caught on. And this is not me being intentionally destructive. He made me a charm bracelet with the fairy charms on it. And by the end of the day, one fairy had lost her legs and the other one had lost her wings. I was like, you know what? I'm not wearing this bracelet anymore. But such is life. So I never wore that bracelet. So we took it apart, took all the charms off of it. And I just kept the charms because, hey, I'll do something with it eventually. And then I discovered progress keepers and thought, ooh, these are cool. I'm going to use these. So I made a whole bunch of progress keepers. When I have a way to display and show those off a lot better, I'll be doing like an entire show off every single progress keeper I have part of the show. Good. You've all seen them in bits and pieces, but still. But okay, so that's the Mini Skein 10-stitch blanket. It's knitting up. Well, I have conflicting feelings about it, to be honest. I honestly thought this blanket was going to knit up a lot faster. And I don't know if it's still because it's in the smaller size, where one of these bonbons is almost two full sides and everything. I don't know. I just thought I'd be going through yarn a lot quicker. I don't know. I'm still shocked at the amount of yarn on the bonbons. Yeah. But the nice thing about a 10-stitch blanket is the bigger it gets, one side won't just be one color. And you'll start to see it as it gets bigger. It'll get 2 bonbons, then 3, then yeah. I can't wait for that, actually. I think that's what I'm really looking forward to with it. So yeah, the white, you saw it on the needle. The white one is the 3rd bonbon out of the beach package. I know I said I was going to knit them in order. This is the package bonbons. But I want to put this red next to that white. I have a desire to do that for some reason. So I think I'm going to move this one to the other side of the red. I may mix them up a little bit. You know, as you knit and design stuff, because I already have a blue on there, and this is more of like a teal one. And I don't want this one right up against that other blue. You know what I'm saying? So I may mix these up a little bit. Show them from the back so you don't have to deal with the tag. And then after that package of bonbons, then I'm going to throw in the next package, which is the nature ones. I love this one. They're just so pretty. I don't know, maybe it's because it's called the nature package. I don't know. But I love this one. And then after that, so probably God knows when, I will get to Anne's Rainbow Rambo yarn. I'll get there eventually, right? I think I'll have more time to knit on it once I get done with the Scrappy Wrap. So, with that transition, I'm gonna finish putting that away. I'm gonna pause real quick, put that away, shove it out of the way so you guys don't have to deal with me changing stuff around. Hang on. Okay, and I'm back. I'm getting used to using that pause button. I really like it. Okay, so if you remember from last week, I had added 100 rows onto the scrap wrap, which equated to about 2.5 feet. Well, according to my row counter, I've put 60 rows on. Yes, I am keeping track. And so to me, here's my awesome autumn leaf progress keeper that I made, which isn't turning around. You didn't get to see it last week. I love it. I put about maybe 18 inches on there. Not much, but every row helps. And I'm actually only this far from the corner. So when I get to this corner, that's going to be interesting. It really is, because for those that have never done a 10-stitch blanket, the mitered corner, the instructions for it are in two different setups, but I rewrote them in a way that I could understand them. So to do this corner, it's 34 rows of directions. And if I stick to my 10 stitches a day, that means it's going to take me 4 days to do a corner. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? Here's the ball of plum chutney, it's getting smaller every single time. So I'm pretty sure it's going to get me to the corner, if not around it. And I will then tie on this. And I've gone back to debating about whether or not to add this in. I love this color. I think it'd be a great addition. I'm kind of tired of knitting this thing. I am. I mean, you know, this is a project that, you know, with having to stop, I stopped for a month on it. Literally, I keep track of this stuff. Because this is going to be going in my legacy book once it's done. It's just taking me so long to knit it. It really is. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what will happen. But it'll also give me an idea once I tie it on. You know, I tied on the plum chutney on the last long side, and then turned a corner, did the short side, and now I'm on this current long side. The plum chutney, when I started it, was almost an entire ball. Almost. So that will give me an idea of how long this is going to take me to knit up, which is good. And this ball's like getting all sorts messed up. I keep pulling it in and out of my my bag. So that's what's going on with that. When I do knit on it, it is enjoyable. But yeah, I'm getting to that point. I think we all have projects where we've gotten to the point of, oh, am I not done with this yet? So, I don't know. Maybe I'll end up... Plus, it's getting hot. Okay? It really is. I mean, this is Florida. It's April 2nd. We're starting to get warm again. Yeah. I gotta remember to wear shorts when I work on this thing because it gets hot. That's even with all my fans going and the AC on. Okay, so that one's done. No transition this time because it's not gonna be loud. Okay, now the cotton I'm working on. I finished the first dishcloth out of this cotton this morning and automatically went to go put it in my finished objects tub for the end of the month. But the yarn that I'm using is the Bernat Fruit Explosion Twist. It's threads of a light lime green, a purple, and a blue. So it looks really nice knitted up, and it knits up fairly quickly. And what I found in the past, twist yarn actually is thinner than regular cotton yarn. It is. If regular cotton yarn is worsted, then this one is, or if it's considered double worsted, then this one's single worsted. It's thinner. And I can't explain it any better than that, other than it feels thinner. Let's see, the last thing I wanted to talk about, row counter needs to go back in with the scrap wrap. Okay, I watched a YouTube video on how to weave in your ends. I hate weaving in ends. I think that is a general displeasure amongst knitters, is the finishing process. And so I watched this YouTube video. I'm like, okay, well maybe this YouTube video can give me some advice and maybe show me how to do this in a way that I won't despise, because I hated weaving in ends. It took me longer than I'd like to admit to get ends woven in on dishcloths for craft show inventory. I mean, and I'm getting better at that now because, you know, every month after my finished objects video, I sit down and I weave in the ends and go add them to craft show inventory. This tool has really sped that up. So the knitting video I watched, I honestly don't remember what it was called. If I can find it, I will link it down below. But it's the Susan, it talked about finishing needles. So I found a package of Susan Bates finishing needles. And what they are is they're double pointed needles. And what you do is, I took out the one for worsted yarn. It's a little double pointed needle. And what's nice is you don't need a threader because it opens up a little bit. So when you're going in and weaving in your yarn, weaving in your ends, you don't have to get a threader. You just take your yarn, just open that up a little bit, and it goes like that. So, why is this thing so cool other than, you know, a regular embroidery needle or blunt needle for weaving in ends? It's those double points. In the video, I watched this woman and all she did was she went up, then she went down, then she went up, then she went down. And it went very quickly. And I'm like, okay, well, if I can find these things, my little Joann's didn't have them. I found them in the Lakeland Joann's, thankfully. Oh, and they're squishy. You can play with them like that. I'm easily amused. And it really has sped up my my weaving in process. And yes, it does make the corners, since I do the grandma's favorite washcloth, you know, I start go to a triangle, come back down to make the diamond. It does make those two ends a little thicker, but I look at that as, hey, extra scrubbing power. But that's just me. It comes in a package. Well, the package I bought comes in 5 different sizes. Comes with this really big size 6 one to use for bulky yarn. Then this red one, which red isn't specified on the color chart down here. So I think maybe use that for 5. Then that dark blue one I was playing with are the 4 and the 3. This little light blue one right here is for 2. And then the thin one for baby and lace yarn is for 1 and 0 weight yarns. I love these needles, you guys. If you haven't tried them, the pack of them was it was a couple bucks. I recommend getting them. It was so great. You know, having this big bulky one, I've got a blanket that I made from the Bernat Harvest yarn, that red color. Now, let me get the blanket back out. This color, where one of the ends, I didn't weave in the ends properly, so I think I may pull that back out and redo it. So I now have the needle to do it. So that's what I've been working on. Got new yarn to play with for inventory. Scrappy blankets coming along. Scrappy Wrap, or not Scrappy blanket. What do I keep calling? They're all kind of scrappy, to be honest. My Mini Skein blanket's coming along very nicely. Scrap Wrap's coming along very nicely. I just have to sit in a freezer to work on it. That's all I've got going. Next week is Bobbin Lace Day. So I don't know if I'll film before or after I go to Bobbin Lace. So, and I may show off Bobbin Lace next week because it is a fiber art. I think you guys might like to see it. So, have a nice weekend, and I'll see everybody later.